Hey, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into something pretty delicate. How do you, as a reporter, cover religion? This is a tricky one, so let's get right into it. So think about it. A reporter's whole job is to watch and tell the story. But what happens when that story is unfolding in a church, a mosque, or a synagogue? I mean, how do you report on a community's most sacred, most personal moments without completely disrupting everything? And that's the thing, right? You have to be there. There's this great quote that says it all. The sights, sounds, rituals will tell you more than any book ever can. You just can't get the real story from a distance. You've got to experience it to understand it. But, and this is a big but, you can't just show up unprepared. Getting this right is a real balancing act. It's about respect, it's about awareness, and it's about holding on to your journalistic integrity. So, that's what we're going to do today. Break down the essential guide for any journalist walking into a house of worship. Okay, so first things first. It all starts before you even get there. Seriously, the prep work is everything. It can make the difference between earning a community's trust and, well, burning that bridge completely. So, right off the bat, you have a big question. Do you call ahead or just show up? Most of the time, yeah, you call. It's just professional courtesy, right? But there are exceptions. Let's say you have a tip that a preacher might illegally endorse a political candidate from the pulpit, or maybe a really controversial issue is being debated. In those cases, showing up unannounced might be the only way you're going to get the real, unfiltered story. So this leads us to a pretty simple checklist for before you go. Step 1. Decide if you're going to give them a heads up. Step 2, check the dress code. You can usually find this on their website or you can call. There are even books out there like How to Be a Perfect Stranger that can help. And number 3, and this one is a biggie we'll come back to, you have to ask for permission to record. Always. Okay, so you've done your homework, you're there. Now for the tricky part. How to act during the service itself. This is all about observation and, just good etiquette. The golden rule here is honestly super simple. Just show respect. It's not rocket science. Be quiet when people are praying. Stand up when everyone else stands up, sit when they sit. If people are taking their shoes off at the door, you take your shoes off. The goal is to be a fly on the wall, not the center of attention. Which, of course, brings up a classic question for reporters in this situation. You're there, you're trying to be respectful, you're trying to blend in. So, do you actually pray along with them? Well, there are kind of two ways people think about this. Some reporters will sing along or close their eyes during prayer just so they don't stick out like a sore thumb. But really, the professional standard is pretty clear. Your job is to observe, not to participate. Think about it. If they see you praying, they might assume you're on their side and expect a glowing article, not an objective report. It's a really fine line to walk. And what about taking notes? This can be surprisingly tricky. For instance, for Orthodox Jews, writing on the Sabbath is considered work, so it's a no-go. In other places, it's just seen as plain rude. So reporters have gotten, well, pretty creative. We're talking about ducking into the restroom to scribble down a few lines, hiding a notebook under a coat, or even typing notes on a phone that's hidden inside a Bible. You do what you gotta do. Okay, here's another one of those classic, slightly awkward moments. The service is going along, and all of a sudden, you see it. The offering plate is coming your way. What do? Honestly, the answer is pretty straightforward. You don't have to put anything in. A lot of reporters just pass it along. But hey, some feel it's a nice gesture to drop $1 in. It's totally a personal call, not some professional rule. All right, let's switch gears and talk about tech. As soon as you bring a camera or any kind of recorder into a house of worship, things get a whole lot more complicated. And this part is absolutely non-negotiable. You have to get permission in advance. Period. And don't be surprised if they have some very specific rules for you. The leaders might say, no flash photography, or they'll tell your camera operator exactly where they can stand and where they can't. They might even say certain parts of the service are totally off limits for recording. So, we've covered the general rules, but then there are these special situations that, require a little more finesse, a bit more sensitivity, and a whole lot of professionalism. For female reporters, for example, there can be a few extra things to think about. How you dress is really important. In some traditions, you'll need to dress modestly, which might mean covering your arms, legs, or even your head. And if men and women are separated, the key is ingenuity, not confrontation. Find a way to reposition yourself so you can still see what's happening. When it comes to greetings, like a handshake, the advice is simple. Just wait for them to extend a hand first. Okay, this one can get uncomfortable. You're there to do your job, and a really well-meaning person from the congregation comes up and invites you to be saved or asks if they can pray for you. How in the world do you handle that professionally? There's this fantastic quote from a reporter named Jeffrey Weiss that's just the perfect response. He says, "I never turn down a prayer." See? It's so good. It's respectful, it's gracious, it doesn't shut them down, but it also doesn't compromise your position as an observer. Now, if they keep pushing, it's totally okay to politely but firmly end the conversation. So when you pull it all together, what's the big takeaway? What does it really mean to be a journalist covering religion? Well, it means you have to get really, really good at a very delicate balancing act. And that's really the question at the heart of all this, isn't it? How do you balance being a respectful guest in someone's sacred space with being a critical observer who's there to report a story? How do you honor their beliefs while still doing your job? There's no single easy answer, but knowing these rules of engagement, well, that's the absolute best place to start.